everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous Podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, my co-host is Bricky, and today, I think, we're gonna learn about some Arks of Omen, and I'm super hype, and it's just, love the last episode. But before we get too far into that, if you enjoy today's episode of the podcast, and you feel like maybe let's support these guys, head over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to our Discord, bloopers if they happen. At the $15 tier, you can get all of our posters in HD digital form, and if we hit the $20,000 goal, which is just, I don't get it, but thank you so much for the support, we will be doing one episode on Warhammer Fantasy. I'll be taking the reins, and I'll try and teach Bricky a little something about Warhammer Fantasy. So patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous.
You get one.
You get one. You get one.
I refuse to subject myself to rats. I have rats in my house.
Oh, that's right. You do. You're being invaded by the Skaven because you don't like fantasy.
They're far less potent than I expected. Besides that, for our next book club, as the episode on Belstar's Call just came out, we are going to be doing Master of Mankind.
Ooh, we're finally doing it.
Yes, a heavily recommended book. That is the next one up. Give it a read, give it a listen, give it, and then moving on. And last but not least, check out the merch. We got orchid8.com. There's merch there. We have great new posters of many types. We have flags that you can fly high, and dice and objective mats. It's all good stuff. So shirts, hoodies, so on. Check it out. All in the description at orchid8.com. DK.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't much have a quote for you, but I have the opening of this book if you'd like me to just kind of give this small paragraph a read to kind of set you up.
Hit me with it. Set me up. Someone set us up the bomb. Bricky set us up the quote.
So you wouldn't call the World Eaters subtle, would you?
No. With a name like World Eaters, no.
All right, good. Because the first sentence here is, the Eaters of Worlds.
Oh, okay.
The blood god's sacred slaughtermen, chosen legion of Khorne. None there are who offer greater tribute to the Lord of Skulls, none more committed to battle in his name. Many are those who brand the World Eaters shattered, fragmented sons of a broken father. Those same fools soon fall beneath the churning teeth of bloody blades, their skulls cast flensed upon the offering pile. Yet for all their sacred butchery, there are none amongst this blood-blessed brotherhood to compare to their sire. He is the bladed hurricane, he is the unstoppable beast, fury given form, the gore-spattered demigod of carnage. He is the red angel, and demons and mortals have slain and striven for the honor of fighting in his charnel shadow. He is Angron, the eater of worlds, and his onset heralds death.
Wow.
We're starting off strong.
Wowie. Blood-blessed brothers. There's some alliteration for your daily life. Holy moly. Okay, I like it. I mean, let's go. I mean, that is so on the nose, World Eaters. Like, if you had just told me that, I was like, oh yeah, this is obviously a World Eaters episode. We're going to be talking about some Angron shenanigans. Let's go. Also, again with the flensing, they love that word. No flame, flensing. We got to cleanse.
Make that skull, gotta make that skull clean.
Nice and clean and smooth, just like my brain.
Gotta stack it on the pile.
Gotta make a throne out of it. You don't want to have dirty skin flaps on your skull throne, right? You gotta polish that skull.
Truly an offering. Worthy. So, as for those of you viewers who don't know where we're at right now, this is not the episode on Angron, if that's what you were hoping for. We have an episode on Angron himself and his backstory in the World Eaters that we've already done. And this is technically the second part of the Arks of Omen book series. If you are not caught up, I would go back and watch the Vashtor. I know it's Abaddon one, but the image is of Vashtor.
Yeah. It's sick, the last too. That's another sick thumbnail by Ted.
Yeah, good job, Ted. I hope he maintains the Arks of Omen style for this one too, to make it consistent.
Oh, it's so cool. It's really great work. Anyway, go ahead.
But so that kind of gives you a little bit of a heads up. So starting off, we have Angron. And Angron is aboard a fleet of heretics and world eaters. These are all currently translating through different warp jumps and the like, and he is rent a gigantic hole out of the Conqueror's ship that has had a bit of a change since the last days.
Okay, so we're on the Conqueror.
We're on the Conqueror. The Conqueror, no ab. Well, it's a little fleshier. It's bored a bunch of demonic spires coming out of it. Yeah. So Angron does not abide the laws of physics. He rips a hole out of the Conqueror in rage, and he rides it in the vacuum of space. He bellows and screams and can fly in the void. So to the nature of him being a demon that ignores the laws of physics.
Oh, I suppose that's true. Like, warp demons probably would be able to fly in the void of space without, like, a helmet or any special thing. And he's got, muscles on his wings. He's got biceps for wings, so sure, he can fly. Also, just the idea of a fleet that at the lead just has, like, Angron going at the head of it is freaky. I don't like that at all.
That's about what it is. So he is leading one of the largest World Eaters fleets since the Horus Heresy. About half of all the remaining World Eaters, along with various other war bands, stolen alien ships, even repurposed for the use of World Eaters. Just the whole thing. Conquer at the head. Even some ships still bearing the old white and blue color from the heresy itself.
There's pre-heresy ships in there too. Well, the remains of pre-heresy ships anyway.
So in this tippity top, Angron he's exactly what you'd expect him to be. He is still a Primarch, so he still is he's still a tactician to an extent. He's still smart, but the nails in his head are, and throughout this entire book, it's always said the nails are pounding into his head. Specifically, the word pounding 3 times is constantly used.
Yeah.
So he is just, a whirlwind of rage, and he's particularly heading towards this bright psychic light that is bugging him to death.
A bright psychic light that's bugging him to death, huh?
A bright psychic light that bears the source of witchcraft. That he is just, he's mad, but this is like mad. Khorne disdains sorcery.
Oh, so this is like extra angry Angron, because this is like Khorne doesn't like it. I really don't like it. So it's just like, oh yeah, go kill that post haste.
It's like having someone shine a light directly into your eyes is already bad, but then they're also going, "Ee."
You want to hear the most annoying sound ever? So Angron is, because last time we saw Angron was at the end of that book, and when he went demon, he's just crazy, and he's just like chained down, and he's just like, you can't talk to him unless you're Khorne?
Pretty much.
Is he better than that now? Because or is he just still just like, I'm gonna kill everything in my sight unless you're Khorne?
So you're forgetting that was not even before the heresies ended.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I guess for some reason I thought that was post heresy.
No. Daemon Primarch. I'm pretty positive Demon Angron. Yeah, Demon Angron happened prior to the Siege of Terra. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember
my timeline is all
him.
screwed up. Yeah. Okay.
They threw him into the surface. Remember, they jettisoned him and let him murder everybody.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did.
Yeah. So not like that. But no. Angron is not tied up to anyone. He is at full reign. He is going around, and a World Eater ship looks like what you think it is. It is raining blood in the sanctums. Everyone is screaming and yelling. Demons and stuff and regular people alike are keeping it functioning. People are just dying. There's full of gladiator pits and people murder the slaves down on the. It's a world eater ship.
Yeah.
And along with his massive tide of ships comes his Ark of Omen, which is known as the Clarion Dire. And the Clarion Dire Ark is led by some other World Eater's captain, not too important, gifted by Abaddon and told to send over here to go get the artifact that Abaddon is getting, which remember Abaddon and Vashtor are trying to gather MacGuffins to make a key, and this key will have a weapon that will destroy the Imperium, basically.
Okay. Yeah. So what's the rest of Chaos up to at this point? Because not every Chaos faction follows Abaddon the Black Legion, right?
Murdering loyalists. But anywho, so Abaddon has sent him this Ark of Omen and a good portion of his fleet, or just extra stuff to help him go to this place. And this is known as a planet known as Malak Bael. Okay. M-A-L-A-K, Malak, B-A-E-L, Malak Bael.
Malak Bael, all right.
On Malak Bael is where this psychic light is stinging Angron's mind and making the nails in his head pound harder and harder. Now, obviously, Angron does not care one bit about Abaddon's prize. He could give a shit. He is a Primarch. Abaddon is a little baby boy compared to Daemon Primarch Angron. Oh. But Abaddon kind of knows this and is just like, listen, there's a thing there we got to get. Here's an arc. Just go. Like murder everything, like whatever. Like Abaddon's not dumb. He knows what Angron's about.
Oh, sure. He sends Angron on a task that he's like, yeah, Angron's going to take care of this. Also, so you're telling me if Angron and Abaddon squared off, Abaddon would get wrecked?
Oh God, yeah. Look at him. Look how big he is.
True that he is a big boy, and I guess he is a demon Primarch.
Honestly, Shai says, yeah, he controls him by saying, hey, dude, those guys over there called you a pussy. No, it's genuinely just, hey, look at this place. See how many loyalists are there? And look, they're sorcerers. You want to kill all of them, right? It's like, well, yeah.
Here's a fancy tool, giant ship. Go kill them.
So during this, they are all heading towards this beacon of sorcery that they despise, and the camera. I'll say it like a show, right? The camera pans out, and out as it moves its way, there is a orb, and this orb is being pondered by a war band of Tzeentch. I don't think it's technically Thousand Sons. I think it is just Chaos Marines that serve Tzeentch.
Oh, okay.
This warband is multiple sorcerers looking at their orb, seeing Angron flying around and all that.
Oh boy, they've got to be very nervous.
Well, so no, they're not the people that he's going towards.
Oh.
They are currently in possession of an ark known as the Stygian Heart. And they've already got their artifact.
Oh,
they got what they needed, gave it over to the War Master. But this piece of sorcery, this high level of sorcery thing they're very interested in. They're very curious. And so they're looking at it and they're thinking it might be smart to, before Angron arrives, to get there and try to snag what we can before the Red Angel arrives and kills everything.
This sounds like a really bad idea. I gotta be honest with you, this sounds like an awful idea.
So they make for Malak Bael in an attempt to go to war for Tzeentch and try to, because I mean, come on, sneaking in and grabbing stuff and being all sneaky and lie, it's such a Tzeentch thing,
That's true. God of change, sneaky. Yeah. Okay.
So, quote, "The blood god hates sorcery and these weaklings who cover in its paltry light. Such curs are good for naught but slaughter. I shall be their executioner and I will pile their heads high," says Angron the Red Angel.
I was going to say, could you get a more Angron-esque quote than that?
So, now we go back in time a little bit. Mm-hmm. Inquisitor Glory, Glori, Amagna, Emagna. Glory Amagna. We're going to call her Inquisitor Amagna.
Okay.
Inquisitor Magna is a Puritan Inquisitor of the Ordo Malleus. That's the demon one. She actually had many people telling her that, yo, holy shit, Angron is coming. And then she set them aflame because that's heretical talk. How do they know that?
Oh, really?
This is a Puritan Inquisitor, man. There's the Puritans and the Radicals, and this is a Puritan Inquisitor.
So just because they tried to warn her that Angron was coming, she executed them with holy fire because you shouldn't know what Chaos is up to?
Yes.
Wow.
This is the Imperium, remember?
Yeah, I mean, I realized Puritan, but I didn't realize just how...
The book starts with a person like, no, you don't understand, he's coming, and then she puts him on a pyre and sets him aflame. Yeah, no, it's full on. So
are we the baddies?
So this is our one of our characters. Gloria Magna, Inquisitor Magna, has gotten down to this world of Malak and has found a piece of technology. Now, behind this comes the Indomitus Crusade Fleet Quartus. Now, Fleet Quartus is led by a actually pretty great character. I kind of liked him. Fleet Master Abcondis. A Fleet Master Abcondis is your strong admiral kind of guy. You know, he is stern. He's a naval general admiral, whatever, many a years, and was handpicked by Gilliman himself to lead this Indomitus Crusade to assist in helping reclaim this part of the galaxy post Great Rift.
Oh, so he's legit. If a Primarch specifically handpicks your normal, well, I guess I shouldn't say normal, but if that's a big deal. He's legit. Yeah,
he's legit. However, things just got worse and worse for Fleet Quartus. Oh, no. One of the groups got amassed by a massive orc wall that started keeping them back for a long time. There was some that were constantly berated by Alpha Legion and Night Lord forces.
Alpha
constantly
Legion
in the back.
And Night Lords.
Yep, keeping their group far behind and having their strengths diminished. There was a Xeno cult infestation that they had to purify and got slowed down by consistent Drukhari raids.
Everything happened to them.
His fleet was just like, oh my god. He was just in the front like, god damn it. Everyone is being held up. We're making no time. Things are,
I mean, it sounds like the only thing that they didn't get sidetracked by was, there's a gene stealer cult that's been secretly on your ship, and now the Tyranids are swarming you. They got hit with everything. Everything.
So, Abcondis is not feeling great.
Abcondis nuts.
Abcondis dick in your mouth. He's like rubbing his temples. He's just like, god damn it.
This is the worst. How am I still alive?
And so he got a call from a Inquisitor Magna. And at first he's like, oh my god, it's an Inquisitor. Good lord, I'm going to be shot for my insolence. But she instead says that she is there to help make his day.
Oh yeah, I bet.
She has found a old Dark Age technology machine on the planet of Malak. We're talking Dark Age technology, aka the Good Age.
Yeah, when the Imperium of Man was just peak, they were unstoppable. They were just steamrolling everyone.
This is a gigantic machine that has fed its way in its tendrils throughout. Well, yeah, it wasn't the Imperium of Man; it was just humanity. But you get what?
Oh yeah.
There was no Imperium yet.
Way back before. Yeah. You're right.
But it had its tendrils so deep in this Earth's planet to the point where it nearly touched its core. And what this was called the Choral Engine. Choral, the Choral Engine.
I was kind of hoping it was an engine that ran off of sea coral.
See, I would make a SpongeBob joke, but you're too cringe.
You're right, I'm too based. I don't watch baby cartoons. I watch anime.
You just made an enemy for life. Anywho.
So the Choral Engine.
The Choral Engine is a enormous Dark Age technology piece that is much like the Astronomicon of the Emperor. It is
Oh.
a psyker using machine that can project itself with a massive psychic beacon to help many of things, to help everyone find, because there are warp storms also going on right now, making travel harder for poor Abcondas. And
Poor
so
guy.
this whole thing was like the brand new, like a mini Emperor's Light. People can come in from different areas, they could regroup, they could fix it all, and it had been hard checked by this Inquisitor to not have any signs of heretical machine intelligences, AI.
Right, no AI, no
No
none of
chaos
that stuff
taint.
that was, yeah.
Nothing. And so, obviously, Abcondas was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Really? I would think he would be just like, oh, hey, this is amazing. Like, we gotta go secure this thing post haste, because this is gonna make everything for humanity so much better. Like having a little mini emp. Well, it's not a mini emperor, but a mini Emperor's Light. Like, that's great. That's
So,
based,
okay.
one might say.
Let's say you're in a world that has actual like sorcery and stuff, right? If I went to you and I was a strong wizard, and I gave you a Necronomicon and said, hey, I know it's Necronomicon, but like there's no bad parts of this. Like you could totally use this, no problem. Would you immediately use the Necronomicon?
Well, I guess you're right. Like, it's still a
like,
Necronomicon, even
yeah.
if someone assures you that nothing bad is gonna happen. It's still the Book of the Dead.
This is Dark Age tech. This is a gigantic mini Astronomicon, which is the holiest of things. Let's not forget.
That's yeah.
Like he's not jumping at that. He's not biting at that bit. And he probably wouldn't have bit at that bit if it wasn't for two things. One, everything sucking. And two, the hard-faced Inquisitor staring him down. So eventually he decided, fine, okay. We will gather around this area. And as Shai mentioned, this is in the Imperium Nihilus, so they can't see the Astronomicon. So warp travel is really tough.
Oh, so they need this even more.
Exactly. So the Coral Engine is put into use. And there's something important to know about Inquisitor Magna is that she doesn't just dislike psychers. She doesn't think that they're people.
Oh, she just thinks that they're like tools that you're supposed to feed to the Emperor to keep him alive, type of thing.
They are gifts from the Emperor to serve as message conduits, weapons of war, and navigational devices. They are not people.
Oh, no.
She sees them as objects to be used in his name.
She is an extremist.
So in this place, in the choristry pits of the Coral Engine, lay tons of sarcophagi in which you may place a psyker in there, and depending on how strong they are, within 3 to 10 days, they will have all of their energy siphoned from them, burnt out, and turned into a husk. And then they place a new one in it.
Oh, wow. This really is just like, this is basically what the Emperor does, isn't it? You feed him some psychers and hooray, look at my lights.
Little bit, yeah. However, this thing proves to be immensely good. Extremely powerful. Not only is the light helpful, but the power of this psychic being pushes away the warp storms, allowing travel in the closer you get to the Coral Engine, the smoother the tides of the warp become.
This is super. This sounds like everybody needs this. Well, if you're in the Imperium anyway.
What's even more interesting is it has this special part called the focusing vein, which allows you to basically, like an aperture, shine its light in directions.
Oh.
And
okay.
and so there was an entire world of heretical word bearers there, attempting to create dark rituals to summon packs of demons. And when the demon would arrive, it would immediately screech and fizzle out because the light was being shown in their direction.
Whoa.
Loyalists were fighting against Iron Warriors, and their demon engines would break down and decompose when the light was shown their way. And Loyalist psychers would become like supercharged and just start going on tears.
So this coral engine is just like, we have to have this station, tons of people surrounding it because we can't lose this. That'll turn the tide of any battle with chaos. That's a huge deal.
It is a psychic super weapon.
Like the Emperor doesn't even do that, does he? Like, you can't just like, hey Emperor, point your beamy light thing at that chaos thing and make it all, like, even he can't do that.
Nope, because this is Dark Age technology. This is when humanity was like not quite Necron level, but quite high.
I'm sure they don't say this, but is this one of those things that, like, you would need an STC to replicate, or could they study it long enough and be like, oh, hey, we can make more of these? Because if you could replicate this thing, chaos is proper fucked.
That's unsure. The point being, more than anything, is that, and also Dark Age tech, Adeptus don't much like that, but like also do, but like don't, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, remember when I said the Loyalist Psychers got really powerful? Well, they also had their heads pop after they were done.
Ooh.
They kind of burnt out by being too powerful, They like overcharged.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the Imperium is like, oh no, what a shame. The Psychers are dead after really helping us win a battle. Ooh, I'm that's probably a plus for most people in the Imperium.
It's a plus for the goddamn Inquisitor.
Yeah, especially for the Inquisitor that thinks they're just tools.
So Malak Bile from here becomes this major point of power. It is just getting there is easier. People can see it. It's all lovely. Of course, this attracts the eyes of other people.
Is this the light that Angron sees? That
know it.
Oh boy,
the light that stings his eyes. The foul sorcery. But it's also not just Angron. The eyes of Titan are also Titan, the moon of Saturn. Mm-hmm. The Grey Knights have been looking into their refractive scrying mirrors of the Prognosticator Brotherhood and have gone and seen what's going on over here and say, oh shit, this is weird. So the Grey Knights, of course, are like the Psyker anti-demon KGB CIA that like are super secret. And the main brother captains are like their captains, named Khorne, teleported aboard with his paladin, which is like Terminator bodyguards, directly onto the board of Condis' station.
Ooh,
and to ask him, like, what is going on? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. And Condis, despite being quite pleased with the results, is naturally horrified at these Grey Knights arriving, because there's a bunch of silver secretive that even he hasn't heard of Space Marines there. But even so, stiff back, firm chest, and he says everything that's going on. He talks exactly about what he's doing under the orders of the Inquisition. He discusses the what's been occurring for the Coral Engine and everything and so on. And the Grey Knights say, okay, we believe you, because they're all psychers, so...
Oh, yeah, so they can tell if he's just bullshitting them. Which, smart thing for him to do is to not try and, bullshit a Grey Knight, because that would be just... oh, no. So smart. Smart to just, hey, that's the truth.
So,
smart man.
With that, the Grey Knights go ahead and basically say, all right, okay, we believe you. Like you are just in everything you're saying. He believes in the path of the righteous, etc. You have people coming. Here's what you're about to face. This is what's this is what's going to enter the warp, and it's going to be the old heretic Space Marines from Legend. This is what you're going to have to deal with. Prep, and then the guy teleports out and goes to talk to the Inquisitor.
Oh boy, I'm sure he must have just loved that. It's like, oh great, I have dealt with everything else today. Hey, why not? Why not some old heretical Chaos Space Marines? Also, what would happen if you focused the Coral Engine and you just beamed it right onto Angron? Would it do anything to him, or would it just piss him off?
Once again, DK, constantly jumping the gun.
Sorry, it just seemed like a smart thing to do. You said it's got a focusing thing that screws up chaos.
This is called setting up the crumbs in the beginning of the story.
I'm sorry. It just seemed like such an obvious avenue to go down.
Shut up. This is how storytelling goes. Chekhov out here with his gun, about to point them at you.
Chekhov's got his gun. I'm like, what, are you going to fire that at me yet?
Chekhov's got 6 barrels, and he's very upset about this. Anywho,
go ahead.
So, good old Abcondus begins to prep. He begins to prepare and get everything set up and ready. And as he brings in so many fleets, like an ungodly amount of reinforcements, battle fleets upon battle fleets upon battle fleets. They start building up massive man-made defenses and orbital platforms. Like, this place was already heavily defended prior. It had orbital stations, anti-aircraft batteries, they have a giant fortress around the coral engine called the Fortress of Light. And they are just full stop making this one of the most powerful bastions they can. And it is, Imperial defenders are ludicrous, just numerous, like untold amounts of ships.
Yeah, I get that, because this is such an important spot. Like, even if you didn't know that Angron was coming, like, you should still fortify this area as heavily as you possibly can, because that coral engine is just like, it can't fall. Cannot let chaos get that and or destroy it.
So with all of that, they waited. And they waited for longer than they would like. It almost kind of got them a little bit stir crazy. And on the 8th day and the 7th hour, finally the warp broke and ships started spilling out along with a chunky Ark of Omen.
Oh boy.
And as it started spilling out, the heretics were moving full speed, going quick, making their way to the Malak Bile planet, ignoring all the other ones, which was smart because the entire it's 4 planets, by the way, in the system. The big coral engines on Malak Bile, but there's other there's Malak and Malakale or something.
Yeah, but they beelined right for the most important spot, which, like you said, smart.
Right, which has quite a few defenders, of course, but the Imperial defenders are spread out among all the planets, which makes sense because they want to protect all of it, of course.
Yeah,
but
sure.
They beeline their way through there, but these Imperium, they are entrenched. There are so many ships, and they start blasting. It's said that on the scrying aspects and the picked feed, the little red triangle of torpedoes got so big that it was just a mass of red ink across it as all the Imperial defenders fired.
Shit, that's a lot of the torpedoes.
Annoyingly, these ships were so cunning, though. They were able to dodge a lot. This bore high-level, long war veterans in there, and they took out far more Imperial craft than Abcondus would have liked, to the point where he started to smirk or to furrow his brow, like, God damn it.
Yeah, this is be way harder than I thought.
But they pushed back this fleet quite well.
Okay.
And in fact, they actually were able to take out basically every single ship outside of the Ark. And the Ark, as it was mildly damaged and stuff, he was about to send out the final go order to destroy this Ark. The Ark of the Stygian Heart of the Warband of Tzeentch.
Oh no, does it show up just in time?
And then, before that can occur, his Voxmaster runs up to him and says there are new translations coming from the warp on the 8th day of the 8th hour.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. And as it happens, it says, "My lord, I have priority missives for you." The Master of Vox had broken protocol by hastening to the Fleet Master's side in person, but one look at her expression told Abcondus now was not the time for reproach. "Who?" he asked. "Lady Magna and, separately, Brother Captain Khorne," she said. Abcondus blinked. He drew breath to inquire further, but was distracted by the ripple of alarm spreading across the bridge of his ship. Officers rose from their stations, uttered oaths, shouted to one another while gesticulating on screens. Gesticulating? Whatever.
Gesticulating? Yeah. Gesturing, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Abconda's confusion deepened into alarm at the sight of his hand-picked veterans apparently lurching towards panic. And then it came. A deafening roar erupted with bone-shaking force from the very air around him. Blood for the blood god.
Oh, boy.
And then...
Oh, boy.
The Conqueror, Clarion Dyer, and Angron himself emerge from the warp. The actual fleet of the World Eaters arrive. Oh no. That first group was just those damn Tzeentchians trying to get their prize.
Oh no. It's bad. It's all bad. Oh no.
So I'm going to be going through this next part a little quick only because it is a ton of void warfare.
Oh, okay, a lot of ship battles, a lot of Angron
ship
tearing
battles,
stuff up. Yeah.
All that stuff. Angron's main group was a trident strike. Two, like one down the center, two are on the sides. One on the right was like the Conqueror in the group, and then there was the other major group of like a what's it called, the Exsanguinator, I think was the name of the ship. Of course.
Exsanguinator.
But the big one making for the center was going to actually fly by real quick past the Imperial defenders and actually use the gravity of one of the planets to slingshot themselves towards Malak Bile to outpace the Imperial defenders.
Ooh, smart. Okay.
This begins, and like this is full stop, like the most insanity level of void battle going on. Like we're in full everything is dying mode.
Oh yeah, sure.
The Imperials are really good though, because the world eaters are still world eaters. They are aggressive, frothing madmen at times. So often they will like run forward at high speeds all the time, and the Imperials will almost kind of like lure them into long-range kill zones and break apart their ships.
Right, because they're not really using any strategy. They're just kind of and going after the big shiny light.
Well, they're using strategy, but they're using strategy like gladiators. So often, sometimes they will move their ships almost like hunting packs and surround and conquer various Imperial vessels that can't quite make it through, or ram things with their prows. Like, they're still using strategies. They're just not like, they're using, like, I'm going to murder as much as I can, which is good for some things and not for others.
Okay, gotcha.
The Conqueror a side group of them go fight this other admiral, like I think Pell was his name, and they blow through a large amount of his resistance, and they're able to snag that gravity well and fling themselves towards the planet. Some being injured in the fight and not quite making it and falling into the planet. Ooh. And so you get just these enormous world eater ships just landing on the Imperial defenses on those planets. Like, good old Pell, this guy who trying to deal with this group of people moving past him, had the Exsanguinator ship, which was, I do believe, led by a certain man, a certain someone with a buff-ass arm.
Oh, yeah? I was really kind of hoping you were going to say it was led by Latara.
Latara is apparently still on the Conqueror. Apparently she's melded with the bridge somehow.
Oh. So she like her upper half is still like, as long as it's from abs down, that's fine. As long as she's still ripped and the rest of her is just integrated in, she might not have those nice thighs, but as long as those abs are still intact, we're good. We're good. Conqueror's abs, we're still good. Yep.
Apparently she's like, it's what Shai said, like a vampire monster melded with the controls on the bridge. She's like basically become the ship.
She's a vampire now?
I don't know. It's not in this book. She's not mentioned in this book besides a slight what's the word? Like reference.
Listen, you're telling me she could be a buff vampire chaos mom? Poster!
Nope, no
Poster!
No poster.
Poster!
It doesn't work anymore. The fun is gone. She's all bad.
Okay.
Anyway, not important. Point being, as the war kind of continued, the fleet battle got pretty heavy. Good old Abconius's giant ship, I think it was called like Might of Terra, of course it was.
Of course, sure.
Gets boarded by some world eaters, which is a real issue.
Yep, it sure is.
Which we'll get more into in a bit. But the Conqueror does have its fun as it's making its way towards Malak Bile, murdering all in its path, and it does indeed, as is the most fun, fire its Ursa claws.
Yes!
It absolutely does, and it impales another Imperial ship, and Angron is like,
Based.
all right. And he becomes a bullet.
What?
He just jumps off the Conqueror, folds his wings behind him, and plows directly into the ship that gets trapped by the Ursa claws from one end of the deck to the other like a goddamn torpedo.
Wow.
Angron is like Deadpool. So long as like he gets half of his body ripped in half by an orbital defense battery, and within seconds just grows it right back.
Oh no! Oh
he
man!
Is pure murderous warp energy.
Oh, but jeez, you thought Angron was bad before. Now we've got regenerative Angron. So even if you slice and dice him, it's just poof, he's back. Oh,
Angron was tough before, but this is Angron with now the warp being opened halfway across the galaxy.
Oh
so
my god.
He's taking like blowing his arms off, his wings are being ripped into two, and he's just like, it's back to normal.
I don't care. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Angron was scary before. Now it's a whole new level of now I totally get why you're like, oh yeah, Abaddon stands no chance.
So he gets to Malak Bile. And how do you think he starts the battle on Malak Bile? How do you think that happens?
How do I think like how does he get there, or just what does he do when he lands?
No. Like, how do you think he makes landfall?
I imagine he just goes screaming through the atmosphere like a bat out of hell, yelling at the top of his lungs and wanting to kill everything.
You're goddamn right he does. He just jumps off the Conqueror into the atmosphere, and he lands like a comet on the ground and just starts ripping. And that is the photo they provide.
Wow! Oh my god, Angron! What an ultra Chad! Wow! Please tell me he did the superhero land. Also, just, the very one hand on the ground, the other in the air, and just wow!
I think he went face first into like multiple defenses.
All right. Oh my god, Angron's so cool. Holy piss.
So naturally, I forgot to mention this. When he arrived, like in system, and that Blood for the Blood God screen happened, I always forget that like Khorne is still like a demon, and so it has effects on people. It's not like just Tzeentchian and stuff. When he arrived, like a lot of the Imperial crew and defenders were somewhat crippled for a little bit because like the gangs that put the bullets and the guns in the bottom decks of the ship went crazy and started attacking each other, and they needed to get whipped back into shape. Or they got like so frightened they were paralyzed with fear and they couldn't do stuff. Like it crippled some of their things for a short period of time until all the foremans and people cracking the whips got them going.
Got them back in their right state of mind. Sounds a little crazy to say about, cracking the whip at slaves, but for the Imperium, that's the right state of mind.
And Angron just like has that effect to him, as he lands on the ground. They go like crazy, like mad. Oh yes, Shy, thank you. World Eaters surf warp on things called blood waves, which cause people to go murderously mad. Dude, even
their transportation is chaos murder energy.
There's a leader of the World Eaters, a guy named Lord Invocatus, which is on a flying, like, Khorne dog demon engine mount, and he flies in the air like on a wave of flame.
Oh my god! Tell me there's a picture of this.
He's a model, actually. I don't know if there's a picture, but he is a model. In game he is Fly, which is just so funny because it's like he's like flying a unicorn. It's hilarious. Yeah, there he is.
Oh my god, that's so badass. What the hell?
Lord Invocatus.
How is this the first time I'm seeing him?
Well, the World Leaders book came out kind of recently, so.
And he rides that thing on a wave of flames?
He flies. That character fly.
God, that's so cool.
It's very
Holy
fun.
Shit.
So this is also how large quantities of demon engines and tanks and stuff made its way onto the atmosphere, riding flame until they finally hit the ground and then start blasting. It's like that scene in the A-Team movie with Liam Neeson where they're like flying the tank with the parachute.
I never saw the A-Team movie with Liam Neeson.
Have you not seen that scene at least?
I haven't.
There's this
that
part.
Movie looks so cringe.
It is kind of cringe, but there's a part where they're in like an AC-130 and they have to bail, and so they get out in a tank and they have like parachutes and they're shooting shit with the tank while falling. It's hilarious.
Oh man. Can you imagine being an Imperial soldier watching that? Watching these chaos Khorne World Eaters riding in on fire. This guy has a unicorn horse that has a chainsaw for a horn.
Yes.
No,
World Eaters are not subtle. I dropped my book. World Eaters are not subtle.
No, not naming. Good lord, I love it.
So, with all of Angron and the like making planetfall, a good portion of the Imperial defenders are wounded because the World Eaters like ran into it, but are trying to turn around and trying to get to the actual Malak Bale to stop them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mr. Abcondis, our fleet master, is not quite able to pull it off himself, as the Ultramarines stationed, as well as the high-level scions and the like on his ship, vox him and strangely hear worry in the voice of the Ultramarines lieutenant as Khorne the Betrayer has boarded his ship.
Oh no. Oh no. It doesn't ever get good, does it? When the World Eaters are involved. For if you're on the Imperium, it just never gets good. Oh, God.
It says the Fleet Master's last transmission was a hurried string of orders against a backdrop of screams, gunfire, and the revving of chain teeth through bone. It ended with 3 words roared by a monstrous voice, caught by Abcondis' Vox relay, and broadcast to his horrified shipmasters: kill, maim, burn.
Oh no. Oh no. What a final transmission to get. Good God.
Poor guy. There he goes.
World Eaters at their peak. God.
So, Angron has made planetfall, and as has the group, and is making his way to the Coral Engine. And during this time, good old Inquisitor, I keep call her Enigma, but I know it's not Enigma. It's
Enagma.
Enagma,
yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Okay, now I'm losing my mind. Magna.
Gloria Magna. Magnificent Glory, I assume is.
She has been there and is currently saying prayers to the God Emperor and yelling through the Vox and being like, the power of the Emperor is with you, etc., as her local Tempestus Scion personal honor guard holds all of the tech priests at gunpoint. As she goes to every single limiter on the Coral Engine and starts flicking them off.
Oh, so she's setting the Coral Engine into overdrive.
Into maximum overdrive as the tech priests are pleading that this tech heresy of what she's doing to stop. to stop doing what she's doing.
I can't believe even tech priests at this point. It's like, dude, look around. Just take a look. It's in a book. Like, you're about to get completely overrun by world eaters. If there was a time to just be like, you know what, fuck it, this might be heresy, limiters up, now's the time.
You've been reading too much about Call, man. You gotta understand these people, all right? In the glory of the Omnissiah.
That's true. Yeah, I'm too used to Call just being like, it might be a little heretical, but that's okay.
So Angron decided during this battle to summon not 1, not 2, but 8 bloodthirsters of Khorne.
Holy shit!
And began marching down, and by marching, I mean batting his wings and flying and murdering everything in sight at Mach 5. Which, speaking of, as we're talking about this, no, it's not in this book. Shai, can you please write in the chat how Angron got his weapons? Because I know DK would get a kick out of this. And I'll read it in a bit.
Eight bloodthirsters and Angron? And if we remember right, the bloodthirsters are the things that gave what's his face trouble. Sanguinius. And he's got 8 of them.
He's got 8 of them, and they're marching down the coral engine. But the final limiter is turned off, and the Psykers start screaming in this endless cacophony of agony as the coral engine's blasts start flying out at a ludicrous strength. The light that burns Angron's eyes is so intense, and I believe it actually rips and sends 2 of his bloodthirsters back into the warp.
Oh, so now he's only got 6 bloodthirsters.
Oh, thank goodness.
What's he gonna do?
So he's like, it's basically a gigantic gust of wind of psychic energy. Like he's putting swords in the ground to pull himself forward and up.
Oh, yeah.
Get closer and closer to this abominable sorcery. The Imperials don't much like this feeling either in their head, but it's not as disdained as it is for, the sorceress hating Khorne.
Yeah.
As he finally makes his way to the main section of the coral engine, explosives from the Inquisitor detonate, and he falls into this giant pit set for him. And from there, the full contingent of Grey Knights, their Dread Knights, their Paladins, and all their weapons, along with rites of banishment being spoken from the Grey Knights, just unleash onto Angron. Scion blasts from their hotshots, everything. Just this... Everyone is looking around this pit. Angron's at the bottom, currently wounded by the thing, and they are just gunning him to a pulp.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine, and you just don't stop firing until everything is spent and you have nothing left, because it's Angron. Unleash all of it. Fire everything!
And in the book makes it pretty clear that this would have killed him. Now, Angron, as a character, can't really die because he's a demon. In fact, with the breaking of the rift, he will always come back in 8 days, 8 hours, and 8 minutes.
Oh, man, that's actually a rather quick respawn timer for someone as crazy as Angron.
Yes, 8 days is not long, but it would keep him out from right here.
That's true, yeah.
But before they could, his retinue of bloodthirsters make their way up. And they have to adjust their fire at the bloodthirsters coming through. They take out a couple. I think the 4 swords and hammers of the various Grey Knights start cutting apart some of the bloodthirsters, 1 or 2 of them. One of them gets its whip of flame and brass and wraps it around Inquisitor Amagna. And she's still shouting rites of banishment, still yelling at the God Emperor's prayers, firing a bolt pistol at this bloodthirster as she is yanked towards him through the sky and has her head cut clean off by the axe.
Oh man, I mean, she went out as hard as she possibly could. You know, chanting those rites, shooting that pistol. Like, there are worse ways to go, I suppose. That's oh boy.
Brother Captain
wild.
This, of course, lets Angron get up a little bit because the fire has been moved. Brother Captain Crom actually throws his demon hammer and cracks Angron on the chin. and sends him actually flying backwards, not flying backwards, but knocked back for a second, hits him again in one of his horns, and the third strike was coming down right to his forehead before he got wrapped into the chains of one of his weapons. And then, unfortunately, his special axe, known as Spine Grinder, lived up to its name and absolutely turned him into two.
Oh, yikes. Man, Angron is going to town. Angron and his bloodthirsters are doing work.
They are crunching.
Yeah, they must love this. This is like, oh man, nothing better, baby.
So they finally make their way to the center of this coral engine.
Oh, no.
To the major consoles and part. And to hear, there's this really weird part of the book where like time kind of slows. Mm-hmm. And Angron feels behind him this mass, this like ungodly large force behind him. Unsheathing a sword the size of a planet.
Whoa.
And it's the idea is that behind him is like Khorne himself.
Oh,
kind of
all
right behind him, hand on his shoulder in a weird way. Like Angron is too paralyzed to turn around and look at what it is, but it's kind of like the guiding. It's almost like the hand of God.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily that
forwards.
like it feels like a bad thing behind him. Like it might paralyze him because it's so strong, but it's someone that wants to push him forward and like guide him. It's not someone that's necessarily trying to like stop him per se.
No, in fact, in a weird way, Angron is practically the sacrifice here, as Angron takes his weapons and jams them directly into the coral engine, and for a split second, the nails no longer rang, and he finally felt a moment of peace, a moment of no more pain and suffering to his mind and body. And then his entire body was just reduced to ash as the thing exploded.
Oh.
He became nothing.
So this isn't like is Angron fully completely dead?
No, he respawns.
Okay, so he's gonna respawn in
later.
8 days. Okay,
yeah. They talk
I was
about
gonna be
him
like,
respawning.
holy moly, did they just sacrifice Angron? But I mean, if you're gonna die and you're gonna need to go on the respawn timer, good reason to do it though, to get rid of this giant coral engine, make it explode, this thing that is just gonna be a blight to chaos. That is a good reason to take an L. I mean, it's not really an L. That's kind of a big dub, but you get the idea.
No, he respawns, and it says in the book that once he does, he's like, one day I'll know the peace of my actual final death. And him not actually being dead makes him very angry when he starts murdering people. So, classic.
Classic Angron. Yeah. Vintage Angron.
This basically destroys the planet. This engine was like in the core of its planet.
It was wrapped up to the entire planet. That thing blows up, the whole planet goes, yeah.
This thing just starts heaving. Tectonic plates get ruined and adjusted. Lava starts flowing. And with this thing gone, this leads to the greatest ritual and the greatest sacrifice for Khorne. Angron being the final wet blade to make the final incision of the ritual. And then all the screens on all the loyalist ships turn blood red, and all the people have their veins bulging out of their bodies, and they go insane. And almost every mortal in the Imperium in this area gets afflicted by the murder curse. And they all turn on each other. We're talking Space Marines. We're talking sisters. We're talking fleets and guardsmen. That admiral before Admiral Pell is eaten alive by his bridge crew. Everyone. There's a little excerpt of a sister's canoness having to stop her fellow sisters from murdering everyone and trying to get things back together, and then she's just obliterated by a titan that has turned mad.
Oh my god. So the Khorne just went super crazy after this thing got destroyed?
This was half of the World Eater's ships and ungodly amounts of Imperials and the blood tithe of a planet, not just the amount of dead, but also the destruction of sorcery.
Oh,
That's his thing, man.
So once that thing got destroyed, Khorne was like, "Ooh, finger licking good," and he was just like, "Oh, this is it. This is I am supercharged. Oh, baby, let's go." He's like, this is an all-you-can-eat buffet for him.
Yep, it truly is like disdain and hatred for sorcery and ungodly amounts of blood. The entire system is now basically infected by a murder virus, so to speak.
Wow, oh man. So can Khorne, like, when so Shai said, like, this is a newly created murder curse. Is this something Khorne can just do now? He can just inflict a murder curse on people if the conditions are right and just force everyone to go stir crazy and just murderize everything in a fit of rage no matter what they believe in?
So you're I think you're looking a little too into it.
Oh, okay.
You gotta think like this was just, it's a ritual to the dark gods. This was a gigantic carnal slaughter that empowers Khorne. And so Khorne threw this whole thing out, this powerful curse, because this giant psychic device he had detonation. Like, it's just, this is the result of what happened here. Your results may vary. You know?
Yeah, because, I mean, you're not going to get a catastrophe of this level every day, right? This is planetary destruction, massive war. So, yeah, I guess this should kind of just be seen as a one-off. This isn't like oh, man, Khorne leveled up and now he can just murder curse. It's, the conditions have to be right, and the aftermath of such a catastrophic loss of life resulted in this, right?
So, with that, way at the edge of the system is the Arks of Omen, Stygian heart of the of the Tzeentch worshippers.
Yeah.
And in this ark, coils of brass and silver start to maneuver their way through the ark, repairing its damages and fixing things up. And on the bridge comes out the metal clockwork hiss of Vashtor the Archiphaean.
Oh, let's go, Vashtor.
And he begins to pilot this ark towards the surface of Malak Bile. And in fact, the Tzeentch worshippers, very upset at who the hell this is, he is able to keep them away from the bridge for a while by closing doors, closing bulkheads and stuff. But he's actually kind of pleased with how they're getting through his defenses. It's very smart and cunning as of Tzeentch. And so with one rap of his hammer on the ground, he teleports all of the Tzeentch worshippers to the warp, to his soul forges, in which he will provide to them a suitable contract for their extreme cunning and services.
Oh, well, good for them. They're about to get there. Yeah, hey, cool. Good for them. Nice work.
And so he slowly brings in the ark into Malak Bile system, and down there he finds, after deep within the core, cracked away, now revealed with the destruction of the psychic device, a piece of a weird sweltering black rock that he with a delicate like touch of reverence almost is able to take it and put it into a ship, and he sails right back off.
Okay, like a part of me thought you were about to say, like, oh yeah, since it's Vashtor and he's all about like the forge and making stuff and he can fix ships and stuff. I thought you were gonna say he was about to fix that coral engine and make it like chaos version of it that just empowers chaos and just turn it against the humies and more chaos. But it's much more foreboding and foreshadowing than that. I like it. I like it.
The artifact was only revealed once the coral engine was destroyed. So by using Angron as the perfect tool to destroy a psychic witch beacon, it really was the right decision.
Yep.
And as Shai has mentioned, the remaining of that fleet will be either given to Khorne or be considered traitor because of what's going on, even if it wears off. So,
they would because because the murder curse.
Yep. There's actually a hilarious part where a sister Repentia goes crazy and kills one of her sisters because of this, and then the unaffected sister shoots the Repentia and then says "unforgiven."
And I dubbed the Unforgiven.
Yeah, it's like, you are unforgiven. Oh, yes, okay. All right. Angron weapons are Spine Grinder and Somniaris. The former is a titanic chain axe far beyond most mortal craft. It is also known as Persiac's Folly, named for the traitor forge world that labored for decades to construct it, only to become the axe's first victim when Angron scorned their supplication. The latter is a demon blade of prodigious size containing the essence of a powerful Slaneshi demon whose gladiatorial posturing offended the Primarch enough for him to administer the beating of a lifetime using nothing more than an unworked iron bar, forging the blade in the process.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna beat you into a sword, and I'm gonna use that sword.
That's amazing. Those are the most Angron weapons you could ask for. I'm just gonna take this iron bar and I'm gonna beat you so fucking bad it's gonna grind into a sword, and I'm gonna just keep using it because you, Slanesh demon. Wow.
Not to mention the damn chain axe is called it's literally like, wow, thanks Traitor Forger for making me this axe. I'm going to kill you all with this axe.
It's like, yes, this is finally crafted now. If only I could test it out. Jeez. Angron is just another level of psycho. Like, oh my god.
It's so hilarious. The sheer level.
Angron is so far beyond savage that it becomes comical. Like, he is 40k in a nutshell. Wow. I love it.
It's pretty great.
It is fantastic. I love it. Oh my god, these books are amazing.
I am very happy with the Arks of Omen. This Angron one also heralds the release of the World Eaters Codex 2, which I would love to get so we can have an episode on that. It's also normally whenever there's like these kinds of stories, there's a little bit of like win some, lose some for both sides. This was a pure chaos win. They got what they wanted. Imperials are screwed. Tons more Khorne worshippers now, and their fancy-pantsy psychic device is gone.
Yep, there is nothing good came out of this for the Imperium. Nothing. All of their generals and their special people and their Inquisitor, dead. Fancy psychic device that could have absolutely been such a vital tool for them and something that would help them so much. Man, get fucked, Imperium. Get
Also, yes, Shai makes a good point. It's first time it's confirmed, as far as she knows, that Primaris Marines can be corrupted by Chaos as well.
Are we gonna get Chaos Primaris Marines? Is that a thing?
No, currently not. But
will
it's
it
the
be?
fact that they got affected by it. And I mean, Sisters also got affected by it too, which is equally as surprising. I know there's some Sister stuff back then, but they're like known for being mostly pretty damn hard to corrupt.
Yeah. How would you feel if they released Chaos Primaris Marines and Chaos Sisters? If something like this was like, oh, hey, guess what we're planning to do for Khorne?
I mean, I don't know. Chaos Sisters feels a bit against their thing as models. Like, I'm okay with them having it in the lore every so often, but like, I don't know. As
But not
models,
as like
it
an
feels a little
actual
bizarre.
mini in the game.
I mean, Primaris Chaos Marines are basically just like there's already Marines that have been juiced up by Chaos. Like they're basically a Primaris Marine at that point. It's just a various type. The only things that weren't really affected by the situation that happened here were like the Grey Knights, and like custodians wouldn't be affected, you know.
Naturally, sure.
But for the most part, yeah, pretty much there was no safety. No, pretty much no one outside of the Grey Knights in this major battle were safe from Khorne's effects. And it could just be because he needed this big of a sacrifice, this level of psychic machine. But
yeah, I was gonna say, I guess you couldn't really turn that into a squad because, like, to even have enough chaos craziness to affect a sister or a Primaris Marine, you needed this almost apocalyptic event and loss of life to make it happen. So it's not like, again, that's not something that's going to happen every day. That's not something you can just keep churning out. Like, sure, they might exist in the ruins of Malak Bile, but there's no way Chaos can keep making that shit happen.
There's also, real quick, before we wrap it up, there is a World Eaters thing in the book called Blood Tithe. World Eaters in game are basically a stat check. They're like, we're not super tanky and we can't really do a whole lot in shooting, but if we get to you, like, goodbye. The moment we touch you, you are gone. They have this awesome rule called Blood Tithe, which is a point system. And you get a point for doing certain things like killing worthy opponents and stuff. But the main thing is you get a point for every single unit that is destroyed, friend or foe, because Khorne does not care from which the blood flows.
As long as the blood flows, be it friend or foe. Oh man, no wonder Khorne just loves Angron. My boy, my baby boy.
So, you can spend these points on various things to make you better in the game, but the big one is at 6 points. If you have Angron, you can resurrect him if he has died and bring him back on the battlefield. So his coming back to life thing is an in-game mechanic. He's really actually quite squishy. I think he dies by far the fastest out of any of the Primarchs. But then you just set him back up, and you can do it so long as you have the points. You can do it as many times as you want.
Oh man, that's pretty poggers. And
It's
of course,
pretty
for
hilarious.
like for the tabletop, you've got to have some sort of setback where it's like, yeah, he's kind of squishy, but as long as you have 6 points, and you bring him right back. Yeah.
Yeah, and when he comes back alive, he only has like half of his wounds. So it's like it works that way, but it's still
He gets
like
progressively easier to kill with the more resurrections that happen.
yeah, it's still just no, it's just 8. I think he has like 17, but then he has 8 when he comes back up.
Right. It doesn't go like 8 and then 4 and then 2 or something. It's just always.
It's always 8.
Gotcha.
Of course, it's always 8. DK.
Of course,
it's always 8.
Of course, it's Khorne.
Yeah.
It's his number.
Anyway.
Whew.
Good old Arks of Omen are continually excellent lore reads.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Love them. Great stuff. Huge Chaos W. Enormous. Probably one of the biggest Chaos wins I've seen in a bit.
Yeah.
That was a big one. And I'm really hyped for the next one because you know who's next?
The next one's the Vashtor book, right?
It's the Vashtor book.
It's the Vashtor book. And then people are thinking maybe the 4th one is Farsight. Have they confirmed or said anything about that? Or is it still a quote-unquote mystery?
It is a mystery. I believe it's supposed to be Farsight, and I think the 5th one is supposed to be the Lion.
I thought there were only going to be 4. How many Arks of Omen books are there going to be?
I thought there was only 4. There might be a 5th. I thought there was I'm not sure. People are telling me that it might be the Lion. I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm scared. They're going to come for me. They're going to be in my house. They're going to be like blood for the blood gun.
In your
my
walls. You're going to get murder cursed.
But yes, Farsight is what they're teasing quite a bit. And then I think it's supposed to be the lion after that, because I'm pretty sure the lion is supposed to come alive with a new mini in 10th edition. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, okay. I mean, hey, if they want to make like 6, 8, 10, 50 more of these books I didn't think it was gonna get better than that first book, because the first book was pogging. So I was like, oh, next one's going to be probably pretty good. It's probably not going to be that same level, but oh man, it just keeps getting better. I love it. This Arks of Omen shit is great.
I'm very excited for Vashtor. I really hope his book is good.
And that cover looks, that artwork of Vashtor is phenomenal. Just, this is.
Vashtor really hits with like a genuine creepy feel about him.
Yeah, it's creepy, that
a
but
lot
it's
of demons
so
don't
cool
quite have.
too. Oh, I love it. I'm glad this happened.
All right. Take us home, Angron.
Blood for the Blood God!